Good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome to Coffee Chats with Coach Candy. It is Friday. Woo! So welcome everyone. We're going to have some fun today. Friday is always our fun day. Friday is good morning, Myra. Friday is our time to just have some fun. Good morning, Deborah. Good morning, Martha. Good morning, Yvette. Welcome everyone. Grab your coffee, your tea, your water, whatever it might be. Cheers, everybody. You've made it through another week, and know that today is about keeping that foot on the accelerator and finishing strong. So this is our finish strong day, right? Plus, it's our fun day. Good morning, Paul. Good morning, Mario. So we're going to have, what's up? Yes, absolutely. So we're going to have some fun today. I'm also going to feature one of my resources that is so near and dear to me, and many of you that know me know that I watched this movie probably too many times. It is my biggest source of inspiration, among other things, and just one of my most favorite things to have in my toolkit. And so let's see who's all jumping on here. Good morning, Jeff. Good morning, Martha. Good morning, everyone. Awesome. So before we start, I'm going to throw these down first, and then I'm going to share these later on in the Facebook Live. And I know some of you are getting antsy, aka Mario. So we're going to be been up since 5 a.m. working. Yes. So a little more patience, but some of you may have seen that actually Jenna Kutcher had shared it first. And I thought it was a really great way to get people to engage and have some fun. And so I had posted, and I just posted this morning even, 5 facts about me. And one of those facts is a lie. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to read the 5 facts to you. And I want you, as we're having conversation this morning and as I share my favorite movie with you, my favorite source of inspiration, I want you to share with me which one you think is the lie. Many of you have already weighed in, and maybe as I read them, maybe you'll change your mind, maybe you won't. But I am going to reveal that for the first time here, and then I'll go back out on Facebook later and Instagram and reveal it as well. So the 5 facts about me are this. 1, it took me 4 times to get through Pulp Fiction because I kept falling asleep. So that's the first one. The second one is my great-grandmother was the first woman to own a Major League Baseball team. That's the second one. The third one is I'm deathly afraid of swimming in open water that's not a pool. So that's the third one. The fourth one is I have published 5 books, 3 nonfiction and 2 children's books. So that's the fourth one. And then the fifth one is I have scoliosis, which creates a 30-degree curvature in my back. So those are the 5 facts that I shared yesterday, and I want you guys to weigh in. Good morning, Sarah. And I want you to think if you can figure out which one of these is a lie. And I love some people weighed in it and have known me really well. They're like, these were tough. And that's the point. I want to see what your thoughts are. So did it take me 4 times to get through Pulp Fiction because I kept falling asleep? Was my great-grandmother the first woman to own a Major League Baseball team? Am I deathly afraid of swimming in open water that's not a pool? Have I published 5 books, 3 being nonfiction, 2 being children's books? And do I have scoliosis, which creates a 30-degree curvature in my back? Which one of those is not true? And so let's see. I got swimming in open water, according to Jeff. Martha says number 4, which is the published books. Mario says it's between 2 and 4. So whether my great-grandmother was the first woman to own a baseball team and whether I published the books. Paul, open water. Mario thinking it's 2 now. And Yvette says it's falling asleep during Pulp Fiction. All right, so I'm going to let that sit for just a moment because I'm going to keep you in suspense, and I'm going to share that. But before we do, one of the things I want to talk about is my favorite movie. And so my favorite movie, this has truly been one of the most epic, game-changing things in my life. And I don't even remember, truthfully, when I was introduced to it. I have, to the point where I have an old DVD. I also have it, you can get it for free as well. I've had this in my library for so long that I actually have a DVD. I also have the book, the complimentary book that goes with this, but I am was a huge follower and still am, even though he's passed now 3.5 years ago. Wayne Dyer has been one of my teachers for a really, really long time. I actually had the honor to see him just before he passed, the year before he passed, when he was actually in Austin for Hay House's Just See Me, whatever the name of the conference was, I don't remember. And obviously he was the keynote, and it was amazing to see him. He has been someone that for a really long time, his work has spoken to me. I bring a lot of what I've learned through Wayne into my own teachings and training, talking about extracting information. And I prefer, truthfully, to listen to Wayne on audiobook. He's one of those that, because he gets into such big concepts around things, and sometimes I like listening to him explain it. He is one of my go-tos when I have massive windshield time. I have every one of his audiobooks, and let me tell you, there is a full library, and I'm going to share some of his other books and resources that I have found to be just absolutely significant in changing the game for me. But the one that stands out more than anything is one of his last contributions into the world before he passed. He had a vision to do a movie where he could really talk about this idea of the shift. And so there's basically, there's the, morning of our life, the afternoon of our life, and the evening of our life. And when we get into a space to understand that a lot of us right now are shifting into the afternoon of our life, and what does that mean? And we're shifting into a space, and we've been talking a lot about this week, which is why I think it is so, good morning, Tim. Why I think it's so critical is we've been talking a lot about living legacy and how you're showing up and what choices you have in terms of how you want to bring value into the world, how you want to show up and serve. And the shift really talks about that. It talks about how you get into a space of the afternoon of your life. And you're creating that shift where some of the things that used to be so compelling to you and your metrics for success are, no, I'm going to reveal in just a moment. I'm keeping you in suspense. So Tim, what was your answer on that, by the way? Was it 1, 2, 3, or 4? Just curious in terms of which one's a lie. I'm going to be revealing it in just a moment. And so want you to realize that when we think about the afternoon of our life, think about even the way you define success maybe in your 20s and how you define success now as you're in a different space in your life. And so that's a big concept of what this is all about. It's really around how we start to reprioritize and how we start to have a different sense of meaning and purpose as we go through our life. And so this is truly one of the most amazing gifts that Wayne Dyer put into the world. It's called The Shift. And what's interesting about it is Wayne Dyer plays himself in the movie. Not yet, Tim. 3. So Tim thinks 3, which was the I'm Deathly Afraid of Swimming in Open Water. A lot of you think that. Yes, and you can watch, thank you for posting that, Mario. You can watch that for free on YouTube. And so I have it, I'm not kidding, I have it in DVD, I have it from Hay House on my computer that I purchased, and I have the free, and it shows it's perfectly fine on YouTube. It is the full 2 hours, and you can watch it for free. And it really is probably one of the best gifts he put in there. And what's so interesting about this, and I get people that will say, it could have just been Wayne, it didn't have to be the 3 stories in it. And I don't agree with that, because Wayne shows up as himself, and they're at this beautiful place on the coast of California called Asilomar, which for some of you, just to plant a seed, early next spring, I am looking to partner with a friend of mine who does Philosophers Camp, and she does it in the Adirondack Mountains. Actually has the land that Emerson and Thoreau and others did a lot of their studying on, and we are looking at doing a joint mastermind at Asilomar next spring, because we really want to reach into the energy of what's available. And if you watch this movie, you feel Asilomar. Asilomar is a character as much as anything else, and it is the retreat space that Wayne chose to do this film. And so Wayne shows up as himself, and then there's 3 storylines that center around how he explains the shift. And I think it's really important, because any of the 3 stories, you'll find yourself relating to one, if not all of them. And it helps to cement what he's talking about when he talks about moving into the afternoon of your life. And for those of you that have heard me quote Hafiz, which he brings in, it's one of the last things when he talks about the sun never tells the earth, you owe me. Imagine a love like that. It was one of the most profound statements I had heard, and it's a way that he kind of closes out things in the movie, and it's just such a beautiful reminder about our ability to show up and have reverence and serve and appreciate and have gratitude. And so he shares the 5 virtues from Lao Tzu at the end, which I won't spoil that for you, but it's such a beautiful movie. The other thing is not only is Asilomar a character in the movie, so is the music. And I've mentioned this many times to you. I have the soundtrack to this too, because the music is something that I listen to almost every night. It's something I listen to when I journal. It's something I listen to when I'm on the plane and I need to kind of just go deep. The music itself is a character, and it's really beautiful. And so when you combine that with Asilomar, with Wayne's teaching, just one of the most brilliant movies ever, in my opinion. It's 2 hours, and like Mario posted, you can get this for free on YouTube, and so I highly recommend you watch it. I have my corporate people that have watched this and watched it over and over again. They've watched it with their spouses and their kids, and like the Brené Brown special, it's such an opportunity to connect and have really deep, rich conversations. The other thing is, just so all of you know, it's on my regular playlist, this, The Secret, and Brené Brown. I watch this easily once a month, if not more times. And sometimes I just have it on in the background as I'm, cleaning the house or something, because it speaks to my soul so much. And so I really, really, really want to do, I want you to be in a space where you can actually enjoy this and interact. And let's see, Robin, unfortunately I had to do it. Your self project arrived yesterday and I had a little accident, and I talked to Miss this morning's chat. Oh, please post which of the 5 was not correct, because I am really serious. I'll check the page later. Awesome. Robin, thank you. And yes, I will reveal that in just a moment. So I'm wondering if any of you have seen this. Have any of you had the opportunity? Now you have 2 movies to watch. Yes. And Yvette, you will thank me. This will change your life. And in fact, my friend that I'm doing Philosophers Camp, one of the reasons why we've bonded, and Christine's on here every once in a while in the morning, one of the reasons we bonded is because we both have defining spaces in our life where this movie changed everything for us. And I can remember I was going through some really heavy stuff at the time when this was brought to me. And it just opened me wide up. And I still sob when I watch aspects of it. And it hits me on a different chord every time. And I mean, I know this movie inside and out and backwards and forwards, and probably could recite the whole thing by heart. And yet I find something new every time I watch it. And so just adding that into your arsenal, would love to see if you take some time maybe this weekend to watch this. Like I said, it's 2 hours. It's an amazing 2 hours. And so that being said, that takes me into my 5 facts, because one of the ones that everybody thinks was a lie, or some people thought was a lie on the post, was number 1, which is it took me 4 times to watch Pulp Fiction. I'm going to tell you that one is true, and I could not stay awake ever watching Pulp Fiction, because I truly find it to be the most boring movie I've ever watched in my life. And as some of you are gasping for air, I'm really not a Tarantino fan anyway, and Pulp Fiction to me was not only just a snore fest, I literally fell asleep every time someone tried to convince me to watch it. And then when I finally got through it, I sat and was like, really? I stayed awake for that? So I just want you to know that number 1 absolutely is true. I did fall asleep 4 times in Pulp Fiction and finally managed to get through it, and we'll never watch it again. I'm just going to say it's not my space, not my movie. And I have people that are completely shocked at the fact that, because it was such a pop culture phenomenon and people could not understand. And I had so many friends that would say, how did you fall asleep at Pulp Fiction? I'm like, I don't know. How did you stay awake? And so then they would convince me to watch it again. And I just couldn't. And so I'd sit there, and the next thing I know, I'd be asleep again. And I always fell asleep around the same point. Took me more than 4 times to watch it all the way through. Yes, it's a difficult movie, and he has an acquired taste. Now, the only movie that I really liked from Tarantino was Reservoir Dogs. I did love that movie, but that was at a different point in my life. Good morning, Terry. But Pulp Fiction to me, I have never been one to get into mainstream pop culture, I guess, for 1. And 2, like I said, it was a painful 4 times. Actually, it took me 5 times because I fell asleep the first 4 times. And the only reason is because people were so adamant that I was missing something. So I'm like, okay, I'll try it one more time. And finally made it through. I was dating a guy and made it through, and I just looked at him, I'm like, really? a nap would have been so much more worthwhile. So that absolutely okay. Not swimming in open water. So interesting. Which one? I'm going to get to number 2. Actually, I'll get to that one. Okay, touche. If you thought Pulp Fiction was bad, watch his most recent. No. Yeah, see, I have no desire to watch any more Tarantino movies. It's not my speed for sure. One, I find them to be extremely violent, and that energy right now, and I talked about that before. I mean, so all kidding aside, Tarantino movies aren't something I can energetically watch. I have gotten so sensitive with the work that I've done and really stepping in as an empath that I can't watch really violent movies, really heavy, really dark movies. In fact, even when my goddaughter was here, she watched the Twilight series. She watched 2 of the movies, and I had to go into a different room because the energy was so intense. And that's something that kids are watching, right? And so I'm very sensitive to any kind of dark, heavy, violent energy. And so that's just not anything. Like the Kill Bill series, can't do it. I watched one of those and seriously could feel it resonating through my whole body. So yeah, Tarantino and I are probably not going to be in any space together, and that's okay. To each his own, right? And so for me, it's more, I'm really sensitive to that kind of energy, which is one of the reasons why this speaks to me so much. So number 1 is absolutely true. Good morning, Roxanne. Okay, so I'm going to actually comment on number 3 because that one comes out a lot. That is also true. I am absolutely deathly afraid of swimming in open water, and here's the reason why. I freak out, and I have a friend that will tell you a story here in Austin. Lakes and oceans freak me out because if anything touches me in the water, I am completely shut down. I am so afraid of anything like even algae or coral or a leaf or anything touching me in water. I am really afraid of, I almost hit unfollow with that announcement. Probably with the wrong person watching one of my favorite movies. Like I said, each their own, not one that I can get on board with. And I love you, Daryl, but you know what? We're just going to have to agree that we're in different spaces on that one. But the open water, yes, I am absolutely deathly afraid and freaked out. And in fact, not last summer, but the summer before, my friend Sherry and I went out jet skiing for my birthday. Oh, beautiful. Now, I love to be on the water, near the water. I am a Cancer, so I am drawn to water. I do not like being in water. We've gone out with people on the boat, and we go out to Lake Austin, and then there's fish around me, and you will see me fly out of the water because I'm so afraid and freaked out at something touching me in the water. It just creeps me out. And so we went jet skiing 2 summers ago, and I'm not kidding. We were off in this cove, and it was beautiful, and something touched my leg, and Sherry loves to tell this story because she's like, I swear to God, you didn't touch the water. I have never seen someone be fully submerged in water and sitting on their jet ski in faster time in my life. She goes, you didn't even touch the water getting out. You just flew on it. I was like, that's it. I'll just sit here. I'll bask in the sun on the jet ski. But the fact that something touched me in the water completely 1000% creeped me out. So yes, that is absolutely true. Number 3 is true. I am definitely afraid of open water. I'm afraid of the things swimming around or anything touching me. I also, to be honest, don't even like being submerged in water for very long. I don't like that pruny feeling. I don't like just sitting in water. I'm not a big fan of taking baths. I'm a shower person all day long. I know, Tina might. But I'm just saying, so that one, so 1 is true. And 3 is true, which leaves 3 more that are open for discussion. So yes, Pulp Fiction absolutely took me 5 times to actually watch it and get through it. I am definitely afraid of swimming in open water. It just absolutely creeps me out, and I give people that can do that a lot of credit. Ooh, it just even thinking about it makes my whole body cringe. Mario, super dark movies, best to avoid them. My favorite movie that I can watch is Kung Fu Panda. Yeah, I always love my Disney movies and cartoons. You bet. Actually, I don't need to be out in open water either. I get out until I can't touch the bottom, then yeah, that's too far out, haha. Man, there's just creepy stuff in the water. And I will tell you, there's a movie you'll never get me to watch. Never, ever, ever, ever. And yes, could add that on there. I've never watched Jaws. I will never watch Jaws. The fact that there is something in the water that absolutely has no interest or desire. You will never, ever convince me to watch that movie. Just the music alone makes me completely not want to go anywhere near the water. So yes, open water completely freaks me out. I love swimming far away from the shore and just laying on my back in the ocean and taking a nap while floating. Hey, I'll float in the water. Give me a raft, give me something. But if my body is in the water and if something touches me, game over. So yes, I am. And my friends make fun of me. We go out. I went out last year. I rented a boat for my birthday. We went out and they had this beautiful like float we could get on and lay on, and I wouldn't even let my legs off of it. I had to be on that the big raft that they roll out for like 12 people can sit on because it's a party boat. No, I love the water. I am so like drawn to the water. I just don't want anything touching me in the water. So good morning, Mateo. Watch the movie Open Water. Nope, never gonna happen. Never gonna happen, Jeff. I'm just gonna tell you, first of all, that's another little fact about me. I won't watch horror movies to begin with, and anything that remotely is gonna freak me out like that, not gonna happen. So yeah, no movies like Open Water, Jaws, they will never be on my watch list. So number 1 is true, number 3 is true. I am going to say number 5 is true. I do have scoliosis. I was diagnosed when I was 12 years old. I have a wicked curve in my back, and it's actually a reverse scoliosis from what most people have. Most people's curve is down in the lower part of their spine. Mine is in my upper back. So when you see me bend over, you actually see my back do one of these. I am, and a lot of people will like to say they're, you know, a half an inch or an inch shorter on one side than the other. I legitimately am a half an inch shorter on one side of my body than the other because of my curvature. And you can even see it if I really were to sit right. You can actually see my shoulders. You see it really big when I stand. But I had reversed it for a while with some of my training when I was younger. I was able to really contain it. But as you get older, I am back up to about a 30-degree curvature in my back. And so sometimes I know some of you know when I train and things like that, there are things, exercises I need to do to stretch out my back because I do get jammed up in my lower lumbar region. And I actually have a couple fused discs because of it, both in my neck. Your neck's supposed to bend like this, and mine is like perfectly straight. And then 100 times more people die from cows than die from sharks every day. I don't care. I'm not a big fan of cows either. I'm not going to go walk around a cow and get kicked either. I don't care. It's not about dying. It's about creepy things touching me in the water. How did you know that it was between 2? Did I know that it was between 2 and 4? Oh, Mara, yes, you are very good. You did gulps at both of those. Bigger gulp on 2 than 4, but both made you gulp. Oh, some of that's just because I was talking fast. My buddy Kevin taught me that. Oh, yeah, no, that was more because I was just going through the list. But yes, so 5 is true. So now we know that 1, 3, and 5 are true, which leaves 2 or 4. So the question is, was my great-grandmother the first woman to own a Major League Baseball team? Or have I published 5 books, 3 nonfiction, and 2 children's? And so which one of those is a lie is the big question, right? And so some of you know the answer because some of you know and saw some of my posts from last year. So you know you should be able to decide between number 2 and number 4 pretty easily, whether or not I'm lying about my great-grandmother being the first woman to own a Major League Baseball team, or if I'm lying about having 5 books published, 3 of them being nonfiction and 2 of them being children's books. And so curious, number 2. Oh, number 2 is a lie, huh? And good morning, Melinda. I will tell you, Tim, you are wrong. Number 2 is absolutely true. My great-grandmother, Helene Hathaway Robeson Britton, was the first woman ever to own a Major League Baseball team. She owned the St. Louis Cardinals for 6 years. Last year, my family, my brother, sister, mom, and I went out to Busch Stadium because they were honoring women in baseball, and my great-grandmother was honored. My mom got to throw the first pitch out at the Cardinals game, and we were treated like royalty. There has been a book called The First Lady of Baseball that is out that is all about my great-grandmother. And as we learned at Busch Stadium, my great-grandmother is actually, they can't find anyone else. She is the first woman to own any kind of major league team, baseball, whatever. And she owned it before women could even vote. It was something that my great-great-grandfather and great-great-uncle, well, my great-great-uncle actually bequeathed to her, my Uncle Stanley, but my great-great-grandfather, my great-great-uncle both were the ones that started the Cleveland Spiders, which now are the Cleveland Indians. And then when they came down to St. Louis, they bought the St. Louis Cardinals. And so my family has history. Even as a diehard Cubs fan, it is absolutely true that my great-grandmother is the first woman to ever own a Major League Baseball team. And that is something, when I say baseball is in my blood, I mean baseball is in my blood. And so, yes, Yvette, I remember that about your great-grandmother. I posted so much. We gave you the tour when we were down there. That's why I said, for some of you that have been following me for a while, you should have known that number 2 was true. Helene Hathaway Robeson Britton was amazing. She owned the St. Louis Cardinals for 6 years. Yes, absolutely incredible. Boom. So that makes number 4 a fallacy, but only by a little degree, because it says I have published 5 books, 3 being nonfiction and 2 being children's. And the truth is I have written 5 books. I have 4 of them published. So I have 3 books that are nonfiction, 1 that is exclusively mine, 2 that were partnerships and collaborations with other leaders, and I only have 1 of my children's books published at this point. I have my second one written and getting ready to be published, but I have only legitimately 4 of my books published at this point. So there you go, you guys. That is, yes, makes sense why I love baseball. I grew up, Rec Room was my grandmother, my aunt, my other great aunt, my mom, and me, and that was how I grew up watching sports. It was always the women in my family. I'm a huge football, hockey, and baseball fan, baseball being my biggest love. And yeah, and in fact, there's even a quote or a space at the end of the book about my great-grandmother that says, how would Helene feel about her great-granddaughter being a diehard Cubs fan? And it said, somehow I think Helene would be proud of the fact that her granddaughter had a mind of her own. And so interesting that I love the, yes, oh, I love that you just put the Wikipedia on about her. Yay, that's so awesome. That's so cool. But yes, my great-grandmother has created history. And so I love that that legacy is in my family, and I honor that deeply. And I think that is where my baseball roots. When is the next book coming out? That is a great question. Thank you, Martha. Right now I'm in the process, so if anybody knows, I'm in the process of finding a new publisher for my children's book. So for those of you that are ever looking to publish a book, just know I have self-published, I have done 2 independent publishers, and I've had an actual publisher. So I have published books in multiple ways. My children's book is one that, especially for the artwork and everything else, I prefer to have a publisher. That being said, my old publisher went out of business, which was not a bad thing. And I have all the rights, all of the illustrations, all of the stuff. So I actually am in a position where I can relaunch Dreamstar, the first book that was published, and launch the second one, which is going to introduce the Dream Catcher. And so pretty powerful story that, just like Dreamstar, and for those of you that don't know, Dreamstar was one of those that just kind of dropped in. I was 12 years old, my sister was 6, and it was a moment where I needed something to help her, and it just dropped in and it became our thing. And the same thing happened for the second book. I was out at a conference talking about the power of nonprofits and how to make them more profitable, and a friend of mine got on stage to teach, and she did a meditation, which, I'm not kidding, we were gonna go to lunch, and I'm like, hold that thought. And in 6 minutes, I wrote the second book, and it makes me cry every time I read it. And it was something that just dropped in, and it was in the right space. So I am looking for some direction on how I want to publish. And so if anyone knows of some really good, strong children's publishers, please send me a message. I would love to reach out and have some conversation. I still haven't decided if I'm going to self-publish it or go through a publisher again. I just need to find an illustrator to mimic the drawings that I had from the first book. But yes, the second book is done. It's written. It's ready to go. So that was the fallacy, though. It was simply a matter of the one word that said whether it was published or whether they were written. And so I do have 5 books, and actually 6 if I count one that I wrote a foreword for, but I don't really add that one in. But there are 4 books out there with my name as an author that have been published. You can find them all on Amazon. But yeah, so I love that. I love that you guys played. I was right. What do I win? Awesome. I'll have to think about that. What do you win? But I love that you guys, good morning, Tanya. I love that you guys all weighed in and had some fun with that. Like I said, I saw Jenna Kutcher put that up and I was like, that would be kind of fun. And I sat there for a minute thinking, I'm like, how do I make this difficult? And so I love, so now y'all know just a little bit more about me, whether you wanted to or not. And like I said, my biggest thing is wanting to introduce you, if you have not already checked this out, is to introduce you to the movie The Shift. Really, truly, I would love if you take some time this weekend. Like I said, you can get it off of YouTube for free. It is 2 hours. It'll be well worth the time to watch. It is such a beautiful movie, and it really hits into a space where so many of you are trying to connect to something bigger. And also, as I said yesterday, and I'm going to be announcing this next week, I will be doing a workshop in June. It'll be a half-day virtual workshop. So for some of you that have not been able to travel or come to some of my events, you're going to get an opportunity to really dig in and do some of the work, and it's going to be called Connecting to Your Core. And so it is going to help you get massive clarity around your passion, your purpose, and your mission. And so we're going to do a half-day virtual workshop to give you an opportunity to do some of the same things people do at my 3-day events. And so I'll be announcing that next week. If you are interested, make sure that I know so that I make sure you get the information. But I'm going to be sharing that out. I'm still locking down the data. It's going to be a Saturday morning. I also would say, just like I said yesterday, that if you sign up for the workshop, invite your family, invite your kids. This would be a workshop. I have many of my clients that use these tools on how to get clear on your passion, purpose, and mission. They do this with their kids, and it's really powerful. So I promise that if you sign up for this, have a whole family. Make it a Saturday morning event for you and your family, and open up a space to have some bigger conversation throughout the day. So I just want to let you know that that's coming. It's called Connecting to Your Core. So stay tuned as I'm putting the final touches on that, but that will be a half-day virtual workshop for anyone that's interested. I will have a cap on how many people can attend because I want to make it manageable, and it will be a working workshop. It'll be online, and you'll get opportunity to really dig into some really cool tools, a lot of them being tools that are mine, and then a couple new ones I picked up through doing the Knowledge Business Blueprint, and going to bring those front and center right away. I want you to have opportunity with that. So any other questions? Any other thoughts out there? What an awesome week, you guys. Thank you all for showing up so big. We've had a lot of conversation. And so, by the way, we've had a lot of conversation about living legacy. And if you're looking at how do I get into that more, then really consider joining us for that workshop next month, because that is a space where it's going to help you really fine tune what you want your living legacy to be and how you want to show up and how you want to serve every day. So anything else? Any other questions? Any other thoughts? I so appreciate y'all playing. Hey team, this is my post on LinkedIn to help activate my network for Candy. Let's reach out. Oh, you're so awesome. I love you, Mateo. You guys are awesome. Can I just say, you make my whole morning. You make my heart sing and dance. And I just love the way everybody shows up in this community that you guys are creating. It's so powerful. So just know I'm here. If you want me to bring any topics, I keep saying this, if there's things you want me to dig into, if there's conversations you want to have, send me a message. I'm happy to bring them to the table. This is your space as much as it is mine. I mean, I love to teach. I love to share. I love to put this out there. I hope you can feel my passion. I hope you know how much I love being able to just give you guys and pour into you. And I mean, that's the thing. I put so much into these half-hour, 45-minute calls that we do together every morning. And I want to just keep being able to bring things that are valuable and pour into you. And so let me know if there's if there's things that you're like, man, I feel stuck here. I don't know what to do about that. I'll bring them to the table. I mean, this is our space, right? This is our community. So with that, everyone, know that it's Finish Strong Friday. This is not the time to take your foot off the accelerator. Champions are defined by what they do on Friday when everybody else is copping out. So go out and be massively awesome today and live your life with passion, purpose, and be very purposeful and powerful in that space. I love you. I love you. I love you. I love you. Thank you all for joining me this morning. Thank you all for playing in the 5 facts, and I hope we had some fun. And with that, I love you all. Mwah. And I wish you a wonderful weekend. Hopefully you'll carve out some space and maybe check this out. Or you might check out Brene Brown. You don't have to watch both in a weekend. You might, but I'm just saying. So anyway, go out and make it an awesome weekend. And I'll see y'all Monday morning. Same time, same bat station. Sprint to finish. Yes, I love you too. Sprint to finish. And I will see you all same time, same bat station, 7:30 a.m. Central Time here on this page for Facebook Live on Monday. Mwah! Bye, everyone.